everybody, welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And today we're actually at our friendly local game store, Nerd Haven Games. It's a great store, and we're in a little alcove here. We've got the door into the Mines of Moria, and we've got some other good stuff up here. And all this artwork here is from the fellow who owns the store, he and his wife, and he does all this artwork. And of course, you can't have a game store without Han, frozen in carbonite, and a really cool mural of Death Star. So yeah, it's a great place to play. So if you're ever in Abbotsford, come on down to Nerd Haven. All right, so we'll be playing A&A Zombies today, and I'll be playing the Axis, and my buddy Colton will be playing the Allies. And yeah, we're going to be playing with the cards, using the full cards, like the desperate measures and everything. So we'll let you know how round one goes in just a second. Alright, round one is in the blood-stained books here, as the zombies have a small economy going here, but it was larger. It was up around 7 there for a little while, but America had a great last round. They were able to eradicate a bunch. They got a card that allowed them to attack the zombies before the zombies get their initial attack each round, and so, or on the first round. So there were zombies in Central America, there were zombies over here in Hawaii, there were zombies in Mexico, and there were zombies in Szechuan. Unfortunately, the Szechuan battle didn't go as well as he had hoped, and his factory has been overrun. In Africa, pretty typical. Germans are left with one tank, and the British are moving up. But the Germans got the card that allowed them to move. The decoy card allowed them to move some zombies. So we moved them out of there for sure. The British lost their transport fleet because of the U-boats and the fighters and whatnot. So they're not able to move anything. So he focused more on Australia. He took Southeast Asia, but I was able to take it back. But we'll see what happens. Britain goes next, and there's a couple of zombies in there, and I've only got 3 units, so 2 of them could be dead. What's that? No, but Britain goes before Japan gets to. So, but yes, Russia is our first player, and they've got a whole whack of stuff here. They're looking pretty strong. Germany was able to win up there with authority, but lost Finland, Norway to a lone zombie who just appeared out of nowhere. So poor timing. Alright, so that is pretty much it. Not much else going on here. Big fleet taking back the Hawaiian Islands. Japan's a little empty, but they've got some good pressure here in Asia. Moscow's not too far away in this game, so we'll see what happens on round 2. Alright, the zombies continue their relentless march and are up to 8. And we look over here, and the U.S. Has now an infected veteran in there. But they moved everything over to North Africa and took it without a fight because the Germans had vacated it the turn before, as they typically do in this game. Germans built a couple of U-boats, hoping to thwart this, but to no avail. Yeah, the Germans got hit with lots of bad news with the zombies, and they killed a few things here and there. And the British were able to get the technology, the air dots. They got that for free, and the Russians got the zebra suits, so they'll be putting them to good use next round, no doubt. But the Russians are a little bit under the gun, as they lost a little bit of territory here, and their assault on the Japanese is over. So they're going to start losing stuff over there as well. So Russia's going to have to push out, which I'm sure they will be doing. Africa, as we have seen, is pretty quiet, but these zombies, as you know, when they outnumber your guys, that's a scary moment, because that's when you roll your 2Ds, and that's it. Building a lot of guys here in India, looking like they're just wanting to make a stop there, but the British had both their transports sunk this last round, and so they have no transports on the board right now, so Britain is relying on their continental army there. The Japanese had to evacuate Southeast Asia because the British had one guy attack in here, and with his zombie pre-attack roll, the zombies killed his man, turned it into a zombie, and killed a Japanese man, turned it into a zombie. So you go from 2 zombies to 4 zombies. He loses the battle, but then I had to evacuate. I just had to get out of there. So I took my tank, it was the only surviving unit, took him up here to Manchuria, picked up a couple of guys and a couple of artillery in Japan and brought them over here. And as you can see, it was not an easy fight, but we got rid of the 5 Soviet infantry and 1 artillery and claimed Manchuria again. Had a zombie show up in coastal China and kill one of my guys to start the round, so that was fun. And so I had to bring everybody back here. The Americans were thinking about attacking from Hawaii, but they decided to go back and build a bit of a bigger force. And that's probably going to take up a lot of Japan's money, is now just trying to match the Americans' naval presence here, which they probably won't be able to do. And everything else is very quiet here. But the Allies definitely have the upper hand with technologies, and yeah, Axis are going to have to be very deliberate here. So if we look here, you know, the Soviets could lose this right off the hop, because I think there's 7 zombies in there and only 1 tank. So when he rolls those, that could take that territory for the zombies, and then the Germans will go in there and try to take it back. But we'll see what we see. The Russians really don't have a lot of punch right now. They've got only 4 men and an artillery and a tank on the board. That's all they've got, and a sub. So we'll see what happens though here on turn 3. This is a great game though. We love this game. We had a lot of laughs and a lot of groans. But I tell you, this thing is a lot of fun. And just when you think you got a good plan going, zombies show up and start killing your guys. So don't make too many plans in this game, because they're going to change. Alright, we'll let you know how turn 3 goes right after this. Yep, the zombies are on the march here. Oh, actually, I think they're 2 higher. I don't think I caught the one in West Russia. I think they're at 21. Alright, folks, the zombies are really hammering on us here. So, let's just take a look here. Not much going on in the Atlantic here, but the American fleet came up from 14 and landed up there. A couple of suicide runs into Germany and Western Europe with all their air power, with the British and American air power. And it succeeded in wresting Western Europe away and actually took out a tank in Germany. So it is possible. The Americans got a technology of the dead nappers, so they picked up the zombie from here and dropped him there. So the British will be able to get that one back. But the big story, I guess, is that the Germans were able to take Moscow, and the Russians don't have enough to take it back, but they might do the Ura and run in there anyway, because, well, we'll see. The British can bring up some stuff here. They've got some help coming their way, probably. Africa, the Germans were able to take back North Africa from the Americans, and because of the $12 they got from Russia, they actually were able to grab some pretty decent hardware here for the Med, and that should keep the Allies out for a little while. And they built a destroyer up here as well, so we'll see what happens with all that. Over here in the Pacific, well, the Japanese have had to turtle a little bit here. They had actually lost Manchuria and had to take it back, and lost 3 units doing it. And but finally cleared it out of zombies. But they lost coastal China to the zombies because of the cards, and horrible rolling that Japan is doing this this game. So Japan's down to $10 right now. They've got Japan, Manchuria, Okinawa, and the Carolines. That's all they got. America here is coming over. They're threatening to cause 6 kinds of grief to the Japanese. We'll see what we can do about that. And that's pretty much it, folks. But yeah, the zombies right now have the 2nd strongest economy to the Americans in the game. And it is a mess. So we will see what happens here on turn 4 coming up. See if the Russians and the Brits can snatch some victory from defeat here. But this game is far from over, folks. And this here is a growing concern to the Japanese. Alright, we'll let you know how turn 4 goes in just a minute. Alright, so round 4 is done. And again, the Atlantic is pretty quiet here. They didn't really try much this time here, but Spain, thanks to the card that you all know and love, is now a territory that can be taken, so the Germans may have some sport with that next round. North Africa, the British charged in but failed to take it. The British did liberate the Caucasus for the Russians, but the Russians are no longer on the board. So until Moscow gets taken, it's going to be like that. So we'll see what happens with that. The Germans have a tenuous hold on Moscow. They may actually lose it if the zombies kill them, because yeah, just really bad round of attack for the Germans. Over here in the west, the Japanese were able to liberate coastal China, and they've held Manchuria. The Americans, as you can see, are totally out of China now, so it's all wide open. Zombies continue to hold Southeast Asia, and the South Pacific is going pretty zombie-ish. The Japanese opted to give up a carrier and a fighter in order to sink a couple of transports, which mathematically is not good, but slowed down the Americans one more turn and allowed the Japanese to throw together a semblance of a naval defense force. So we'll see how that goes. But the Americans are definitely on the way to Japan. Tokyo, as you can see, is very lightly defended. So we gotta bulk that up. But we shall see what happens here on turn 5. The Germans are building a lot more mechanical stuff and not so much zombie, stuff that can turn into zombies, i.e. infantry. So hopefully that'll help to clear up some of these yellow hordes that are in here. They are springing up everywhere and in greater numbers, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say. Alright, so we shall see what happens here. So Japan's at 12, Britain at 18, the zombies and the Nazis are tied at 23, Americans are at 31. Are they at 31?
Yeah, I lost the Philippines.
Yeah, so the Philippines are worth 2. 30. Throw it all back. Alright, so we'll see what happens. Oh, you're down another one here. You're actually at 29. Oh, look at that. I don't think we moved for Philippines. Alright, so we'll let you know what goes on in turn 5. It's going to be an interesting one. Alright, stay tuned. Alright, this game is nuts. And yeah, again, you can't get too mad at the game when stupid things happen. So yeah, Africa has pretty much stayed the same, although the Brits came over and then a zombie got placed there. The British were able to take Western Europe, no trouble at all, and you'll see a nice big fat Allied fleet and no German fleet. A couple of subs that were built and a couple that were moved. Lost 2 fighters, a bomber, a battleship, and a destroyer, and what did I kill? Not much.
A few destroyers. Yeah.
Like 3 destroyers. So really horrible dice. But hey, what can you do? Because we got enough problems at home with all these stupid zombies everywhere. Look at these things. We had liberated Finland, Norway, and or Norway, Finland. But then the Americans used their dead napper convoys to take 2 zombies from Western Europe and put them up into Norway, Finland. So thanks so much for that. Moving over this way, the Russians are still out of the game. The Japanese came down and took India. Some much needed coinage for them there. Southeast Asia remains firmly in zombie hands. The Americans have lost everything in Asia. The real story for Japan is that they lost their home fleet and they lost their air force. There was 2 zombies. That's the only zombies Japan had to roll for. And there was a bomber and 2 fighters there. And of course we rolled 2 Ds. So it wiped out our defense of our homeland. So we ended up defending with the Americans came in with 4 units. And I was defending and actually able to hold on with a bomber and a tank left over. But the Americans are coming with more stuff, so we'll see what happens on the next round if there is a next round, although we did push the zombies back quite a bit here.
We had a bit of a miscount too.
Pardon me?
There's a miscount too, right, for the tractor.
Yeah. Yeah, we were up a little high on the zombies. I think we liberated a couple of places, but still they're at 18, which is $18 that isn't in the game, so it slows down our production. So we'll have to see what we can do here. Germany's got some work if it wants to get some money back here. Got to take Western Europe, of course, and try to sink that fleet. But they built a couple of destroyers, so we'll just see what happens. Hopefully the dice are a little kinder to the Axis this round. We got shredded by dice. But hey, that's the fun of this game, is because the zombies just kind of make it that way. There's a fair to middling chance the zombies are going to take Tokyo before the Americans do anyway, so we'll see what happens with that. I guess we're on turn 6 now, eh? I think we're on turn 6.
Or is it 5?
Is it 5? When did Russia fall? Russia fell on turn 4, I think, right? Yeah, so then we just had turn 5. So this is turn 6 coming up, I think. Anyway, we'll watch the film, we'll figure it out. All right, we'll let you know what goes on at the end of round whatever this is. Well, guess what that means? Yes, the game is over. The zombies have won, and we'll start with less exciting stuff. This would be, you know, it'd be real tragic is if this actually I would have pulled it off and then this would have happened. That would have been really tragic. Yeah. Here's the tragic thing. In my zombie, overinflated state of just focusing so much on the stupid zombies and this fleet, I sent my whole fleet up here to attack, and I won. I actually only lost one sub. It was an excellent attack, and I killed a battleship and a couple destroyers, or no,
2 destroyers.
2 destroyers, and all the transports. But I forgot that I actually had a transport here that I could have grabbed a couple guys from North Africa, zipped up here, and because there was nobody in the United Kingdom.
It was empty.
It was empty, so I could have taken that.
Yep.
Now, I feel badly enough about that. Words can't explain it. That's when you just get too tunnel focused on things, and that's what happened to me today. I blame it on fatigue, but this isn't that long a game. So anyway, we kind of punched through here, scooped up a little bit of stuff. As we know, the zombies took Russia, and they have taken North Africa and a bunch of other stuff, and the Brits got kicked out of India, so Japan did that. Japan came down here and took the East Indies, so they felt pretty good about that, and this was just in zombie hands the whole game. Japan came and took half of China, so America's got nothing there. But as we can see over here, America came in and tried to destroy Japan, and that was on the zombie roll, I believe. To start the round, the zombies killed 3 of the attacking units, and zombies cannot kill aircraft, so it killed his remaining 3 attacking units and my 1 defending unit. I only had 1 unit left, and he rolled 1D and 3 A's. Killed us all, leaving it firmly in the hands of, actually it'd be 9 zombies because you lost 1 man. And so Japan goes to the zombies, which moved them up quite a ways, obviously. And it is possible to take Mexico, but we were really focused on whether or not Tokyo was going to fall. And now that the zombies have that, Mexico is a non-issue.
Yeah. So
there it is. Victory to the zombies. And holy cow, I got to tell you, that was an interesting game. Any thoughts?
No, that's how it is.
What do you think the main focus of allies should be in this game?
I mean, I started with this wall here, so I thought that was a pretty decent idea. But I think I should have put more onto the eastern coast.
Okay.
Hit Germany.
Hit Germany, yeah. Yeah, I think the big problem for the Axis is that you got to get on your horse and get going. And if the Allies start building a bunch of infantry and you're killing infantry and making stacks of zombies, you can leave the zombie territory, that's fine, but then you're giving up money, and to get back now you got to fight through, so it's just ugly. The zombies actually ravaged us pretty good this game.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, both sides, they did well. But right now you can see there's about 10 in Africa. There's probably over 20 in Asia, including Japan, well over 20. And then like close to 30 in North. Yeah, there's more zombies on the board than there is troops of both sides. So the zombies had a really good game, all things considered. Yeah, but it's a good game. We really enjoy it. You can get her done in just a few hours, and again, don't take this one seriously. You can't help but laugh at how ridiculous things get sometimes. So it is good. It is good. So, and you can walk away friends because the zombies are the enemies. So anyway, that's it from the Hilltop Pillbox on location at Nerd Haven Games here. I want to wish you all a happy new year, and we will see you next week. And at the tail end of this video, you're going to see the roll of the final analysis, and you'll find out who won the contest. And stay tuned for the next final analysis, hopefully coming up in the next couple weeks. All right. Take care, folks. Hug your loved ones. Thank your friends for playing with them. And remember, may those dice be with you. Well, welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada, and we are rolling out the battle. If you didn't catch my last video, you probably missed out on your chance to win the prize, and that's unfortunate, but we will make sure that, make sure you see the next videos. Anytime you see the final analysis in the description, possibly in the heading, or just the word contest, make sure you watch, and then you'll find out if there's a good prize you're eligible for. The prize that we are giving away with this video is an army that we'll show you a picture of in just a moment, but we're going to go through and do this battle. And if you didn't see the last one, there are 20 units on each side, and the people who have entered the contest tells me who wins, so USA or Germany, what's remaining from all of these, and realizing that this is a destroy mission, not a take territory mission. Now that just means then that instead of the Americans, when they get down to it, having to kill off bombers to save one tank to take the territory, they don't need to do that. So all of the casualties will be taken from top to bottom. That is how the battle calculator on my phone works. Therefore, that's how we're going to do it here. And just so you know, the odds for this battle were almost even. It's 1% difference. There's a greater chance that this turns out that nothing is left, which is an answer. Some people could have said, well, nobody's going to win, and there's nothing remaining, because there was a 2.2 or something % chance that could happen. And both sides here had about 47 to a 48% chance of winning. So it's going to be interesting to see. So we're going to start with our Americans. We have 4 infantry, so that's going to be 4 white dice. And then they have 8 supported infantry / artillery. So that's going to be 8 of those. That's about all I can fit in my hand here, so that's what we're going to roll. And these are my hit dice I had specially made up years ago in Mission, British Columbia, at a little place called Warcraft Games. So you contact Warcraft Games in Mission, ask for Will, tell him Kurt sent you, and maybe you can get some neat dice. But you can get these anywhere. I know that's me. I know YG sells his on Historical Board Gaming, and they're all excellent dice. So wherever you can find them, they really speed up the game. And here's a roll to prove it. All right, so we just roll, and the Americans had a horrible, horrible, horrible first attack. So that's only 1 hit. So the Germans will lose 1. That is a horrible start. Let's see if their tanks and fighters can make up for it. So they have 6. These are 3-sided hit dice. And then we have 2 at 4. So out of these 8, they could really use 8 hits, but we'll find out. Oh, not good. I only got 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So the Germans, as we know, have 10 infantry and 4 artillery. So that's going to be 14 blue dice. Now there's only 12, so I'm just going to roll 7 twice. Ooh. Wow. So 1 hit. Oh my goodness, only 3 hits. There we go. So there's the dead pool there. We'll just leave it like that, I guess. And then we have 4 green and 2 black. Alright, 4 hits. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so in the analysis of the first round, the Americans lost 4 plus 6. They lost 10 pips on the dice, so to speak. And the Germans lost 10 pips on the dice. So that was a perfect first round for all of you even Stevens out there. That's rather surprising. So now we have 5 units left at 2. And we still have our 6 at 3 and our 2 at 4. So here we go, all in one hand here. We can roll and find out how much damage the Americans do. Oh, that's a bit better for them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got more hits with less guys. How's that, eh? So we will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back there. So these 5 are last round. Okay, so 6 hits. And the Germans will have 6, 7, 8, 9 blues. So that'll be there. That's 9 blues, 4 greens, and 2 blacks. Let's see if I can fit this all in the hand to get a decent roll going here. Alright. We'll roll them hard. Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sensing a pattern here. Okay, so those guys are gone. So 6 casualties. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll just move a tank because it's obviously typically what you would choose in this battle. Alright, well, 2 very equal rounds of hits. The Americans, I think they actually lost the exact same number of pips again because, oh no, because they lost 1, 3, and they didn't lose a 3 that round. So 1 more pip off the Americans. So the Germans hold a slight advantage at this point. So the Americans don't need the blue dice anymore, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green dice and 2 black dice. Out of 7, they should get 4 with the odds, and they got 4. Look at that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so Germans still have 3 blues. They have 4 greens and 2 blacks. All right. See what goes on here. And 4. All right. Stranger than fiction, eh? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. So we are down to it now. All right. Did I do that right? Seems like I'm off. Yes, as it happens, I did do that correctly. I think in my mind, because the number of pips that were dying each round seemed to be very equal, for some reason I equated that with the same number of units, which of course is folly when you have, you know, the single 1 infantry over here and not over here. So the Germans did get more hits on that first round, and that's been quite telling here. So there is a marked advantage now for the Germans, as they have 3 3s versus the Americans 1, and they're matched at this. But hey, we've seen crazier things happen. Alright, so here we go with the Americans' attack. With their 3 dice, they could use 3 hits. They got 1, 2. So 2 German tanks go away. And then we have 3 German tanks and 2 Messerschmitts defending. Oh, and that is all. They only needed 3. All right. So, in the final analysis, the Germans have 1 tank and 2 fighters remaining and are victorious. So, I will go through my last video, and of course, all those answers need to be up before this video gets posted, but I'll take anything up until the time this actual video gets posted, and we'll find a winner. And oh, let me just grab the winner's winnings. All right, so in the final analysis, we know that the Germans have won, and this is what they had left: 1 armor and 2 fighters. And whoever is closest to that, and if it comes that 2 people actually had the same thing, or 3 people, I'll just do the classic die roll off, and we'll have a winner. But whoever's closest to that will receive this nifty army. And so what you see here is you got yourself a couple of coastal battleships. You've got a carrier. It's a light carrier. You got a destroyer. You have, going from right to left here, you've got a fighter, a transport plane. Hard to get your hands on those sometimes. A strat bomber, a couple of torpedo bomber, or tactical bombers. Sorry, I was just looking at a bunch of naval stuff. And a couple of infantry on the wings here. Some light tanks. You've got your motorized and your mechanized infantry here. So you can use these in any version of historical board gaming games or Axis and Allies games. They're all the same scale, so it should be very useful to you. So congratulations to whomever won there. I will figure that out and we'll display that in just a moment. Alright, as you have just seen in the final analysis, the result from New Year's Day of 2020, the Germans won with 1 tank and 2 fighters left over. And we had 2 correct guesses, Roland Schragus and the A&A Classic Dude. And so what we're going to have to do is have a roll-off. And so as you can see beside Roland, we have 1 to 3. The A&A Classic Dude is 4 to 6. So we just have this handy dandy die, 1, 2, 3. And then we have 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so we're just going to roll it off here. And whoever gets it will get the prize of our handy dandy little army. Here we go. Good luck to both of you. It's a 6. So the A&A Classic Dude is the winner. So on this video, A&A Classic Dude, make sure you, I'll leave you my email. Just fire me an email and with your address, your shipping address, so I can get that to you as soon as possible. Thanks to everybody who played, and we'll be doing another one of these in the near future. Not exactly sure when, but maybe we'll do like 1 a month or something. I don't like making promises because sometimes it's impossible, and sometimes I could do more. And so we'll just try to keep you posted. And every now and again, you'll see one of these final analysis challenges come up. And just feel free to put in your guess. Never hurts to guess. We had a lot of guesses for this last one, and hopefully that'll just grow. Thanks so much for playing, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next time from the Hilltop Pillbox.